Good morning everyone, welcome back to another episode from the Multi-Tools and Blades channel. It's not every day that we get to see a vintage knife brand new in box. Today's episode is about a German-made knife for the J.Primble knife company, which is a division of the Belknap mining and manufacturing company. You wouldn't be alone if you've never heard of Belknap. It's a really old company, started in 1840 and they went bankrupt in 1986. So it's 146 years of manufacturing, but they're long gone, so don't worry yourself if you haven't heard of them. J.Primble was an employee of Belknap and he was a knife maker, so he made a few of these little knives. There's not too many of them around. You'll see a fair few on eBay, the Stockmans and the Trappers, but there's not many of these officers' knives. So I managed to find this one brand new in box, wood fibre handles, still had the factory oil which had all gone hard and crusty, took quite a bit to clean it all up. Has a factory edge that's nice and sharp, you can see the tang stamp there that says no stain. It's quite a small profile for the main knife, and opposite the main knife we have a smaller penknife. You may notice that it's actually not a clip point, which is quite surprising for the age of this knife. This is something that you would see on a modern day Victorinox. We have a nice clean snap, as expected with a new knife of course. We have a 4-turn corkscrew with a decorative groove. I've always wondered which company brought out that decorative groove first. I know imitation is the greatest form of flattery, but you'd think companies would just stick to their own design. Opposite that corkscrew we have the Urema, which is pretty consistent with the design of that age. It's nice and sharp on the tip and on the sides as well. Although it does seem a little bit thinner and not as long as the Victorinox and the Wengers of the same period. The two tools on the back, the Urema and the corkscrew, have a really strong back spring. These are well built. The overall construction is really nice on this. Back to the front side, next to the knife blade we have the scissors. These are very similar to the vintage Victorinox with a single-sided spring. And the quality is about the same as well, they cut perfectly. Next to the scissors, we have the wood saw. Wrong one. It's opposite to a Victorinox, the way the scissors and the wood saw is positioned. The teeth cut in just one direction, and I just think the teeth are a little bit too wide at the base. It would be nicer if they were just a little bit closer together. Over the whole tool, I think that the wood saw is probably the one item that's got the lack of attention to detail. It just has a little bit of a cheapness feel about it. Just makes me think of those $2 shop Chinese made pocket knives. And it's only the wood saw. Every other part of this tool just feels perfect, just like it's made in Germany or Switzerland. And next we go over to the bottle opener and large screwdriver. Once again it reminds me of the old vintage Victorinox. It's thick, it's sturdy, and all the edges are roughly cut. And just like all the other outside tools, it's got a nice spring on it. Opposite that we have this can opener. Not a big fan of this style of can opener, as you might already know. You can see there's a little bit of excess oil. Blade's nice and sharp though. Probably would do its job really well if I had the guts to actually put it up against the can. I'd be too worried that it would fall back and take one of my fingers off. So that really just leaves the scales to talk about it. I mentioned before they're wood fibre scales, and just for a size comparison, here's an old Victorinox that we can compare the size to. So there's a 91mm. So I mentioned before about the Urema feeling a little bit smaller than a Victorinox. You can see here side by side that the Victorinox is just that little bit thicker. Now this is being filmed outside in natural light, but you can just see how those brown wood fibre scales are quite red when comparing it next to a Victorinox. This does have a little bit of oil on it, so the wood fibre is a little bit darker than normal, but it goes really well with the nickel silver liners and those brass pins. Overall I'm very happy with this purchase. It's a good addition to my collection. Well, we're going to leave it there. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment and hit that like and subscribe button if you can for me. That would really help me out. Thanks for watching as usual, and I'll catch you next time.